Am I upset when it comes to Onyx? The short answer is no, but of course there's a lot more to that. I'm going to give my explanation in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice and I'm not telling anyone to do anything. So the reason why a lot of people seem to think that Onyx is upsetting is because Onyx this year launched two very massive things. We take a look at the mainnet of their layer 1 blockchain, that was a massive thing. And then also on top of that, launching Onyx Mesh, which was built in collaboration with something called Chain. Despite all this, people have been wondering why, if this is so monumental when it comes to Onyx fundamentally speaking, why are the price charts looking so bad? They say, take a look at Onyx as of right now. The market cap is still below 200 million. If really Onyx Mesh or the Onyx Layer 1 was such a big deal, then the price, they say, shouldn't be this low. But I would like to counter that argument and say that when it comes to this space, that's typically not how it works. Like for instance, during a bear market or during a time when the market isn't doing so good, it doesn't really matter if the project launches something really fantastic, or let's say if there's a new partnership, it usually just still won't do that good anyways if the market isn't doing the best. It's a little bit different than some other market sectors out there. Like for instance, in the case of stocks, if let's say a company out there launches something that's very revolutionary, if let's say the net income is looking wonderful, now if that is usually the case, typically it's reflected on the stock price. But that is not typically how it works here. If we're going off of just based off pure accomplishments alone, Onyx hypothetically should be at an all-time high as of right now because the fundamentals are that way, right? In terms of the fundamentals, it's actually at an all-time high, but it's actually not. It's around 6 times lower than its peak last year. So again, this does not operate in the same way that stocks do. In this space, if things aren't doing the best, typically, no matter what the project does, it just won't do that good anyways. But one thing I do know for sure though is that usually in some cases, people do care about the accomplishments of a project if the market were to recover. So that's the thing. If the market were to reverse, then typically people start caring about this type of stuff. But that's contingent on the market changing, which we haven't seen as of right now. But it doesn't mean that it won't matter later. But again, the groundwork has to be there first. The foundation has to be set in place first. So by Onyx launching something like its layer 1 blockchain, in terms of the mainnet this year, in terms of launching Onyx Mesh, those are all the key foundational pieces that could matter later on. So that's the thing. That's why I'm not upset, because I think that fundamentally Onyx is the best it's ever been as of right now. It's just the charts are low, but is that really something I want to complain about anyways? It became better, yet the price charts are lower. Like let's say if something in real life became better, yet it became cheaper, I wouldn't complain. I view it no different here, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. If we take a look at the magnitude of their layer 1 blockchain, why does that even matter? Well, it's because Onyx is used for gas fees on there, and not only that, 10% of gas fees on there are actually burned. Not only does that create a deflationary pressure when it comes to Onyx, but it actually gives Onyx a real use case, right? Because now it's actually being used for gas fees on its layer 1 blockchain. In which case is typically when the real utility really kicks in, because if a lot of enterprises start building on the Onyx layer 1, it indirectly is going to cause more Onyx to get burned, which is not such a bad thing. That's just the way to take a look at it. Why is a deflationary pressure bad? It's actually not bad in my opinion, at least in this case, hypothetically speaking. And if we take a look at it, Onyx Mesh, built in collaboration with Chain. Now, if we take a look at it, Chain did rebrand to Onyx, but if we take a look at Chain just as an entity, the reason why it's still pretty cool is because, in my opinion at least, it does have an aspect of ISO 20022. Furthermore, why is Onyx Mesh such a big deal when it comes to Onyx? Well, it's because even though I've already gone in great detail when it comes to this, if I just want to explain Onyx Mesh in the most simple way I can, it basically allows institutions or enterprises or whatever to still utilize Onyx as a layer 1 blockchain, but then at the same time, not have to deal with some of the lack of privacy. So it allows these institutions to still adopt blockchain technology, but then not have all of their information out there. So it creates this hybrid system where some of the information can still be private, But some of the information out there that doesn't really need that level of privacy, that can still utilize traditional blockchain technology. So Onyx Mesh allows enterprises to, let's say, utilize the Onyx Layer 1, but then not have all of their information out there. So it's pretty fantastic, right? Let's say an enterprise wants to adopt blockchain technology, but it doesn't want all the information to be out there. There's something like Onyx Mesh where some things can be private, but some things out there can be public. So that's the fantastic thing about it. Now, was the adoption the best? Absolutely not. I mean, it just launched literally days ago, right? When it comes to Onyx Mesh. So there's really no way for me to tell in terms of what that could really be or how well it's doing, because the sample size is still too small as of right now. But the concept is at least there, which is more than what can be said for a bunch of other projects out there. I mean, a lot of other projects out there don't really launch anything. At least I'm seeing something when it comes to Onyx. It's not like it's affecting the price at all, if any, as of right now, but at least it's changing the fundamentals. It's changing the use case when it comes to Onyx, which, again, a lot of other projects out there are really not doing that. When it comes to Onyx, in terms of global trade and finance, in terms of that niche within this space, it's actually top 10 in terms of popularity as of right now, which, again, may sound a little bit bizarre considering how Onyx has a current market cap of around 150 million. But let's just break this down real quick. If we take a look at what's number one in terms of popularity, in terms of the global trade and finance niche, I should say, within this space, it's Ripple, right? Number two is Stellar. Number three, people can say Canton, or some people say XDC, but let's just assume they're 3 or 4. Now, if we take a look at it, Zebic is arguably number 5. Zebic is the closest competitor when it comes to Onyx, but arguably number 6, I would say it's Onyx. The reason why I say that is because if we take a look at Swiftcoin and XPR, they're not more popular than Onyx as of right now, so that automatically makes Onyx arguably number 6, which means that it's hypothetically top 10, right, within the niche of global trade and finance within this space. So if I actually break it down, I mean, Onyx is still kind of popular within the global trade and finance niche. And the thing is, there really isn't that many options that are that popular to begin with for that niche. I mean, there are good competitors out there like Ripple, Stellar, Zebic, and all this. But in terms of the quantity, there's not too much. So what happens? If, let's say, that narrative when it comes to global trade and finance were to enter into this space again in quite a massive way, if, let's say, the market were to take off, guess what? Onyx is one of the few that's waiting right there, and that is actually popular. And what happens if there's a lot of attention and yet not that many options? That attention is going to be more concentrated on the popular ones that are there. Case in point, Onyx is just waiting hypothetically right there. Will it receive a lot of attention? We'll wait and see, but historically, the global trade and finance niche has been a market that is pretty robust and has received quite a good amount of popularity, at least historically speaking. So when it comes to Onyx, the ingredients are there. What's the missing ingredient? I think it's a hypothetical altcoin season, but if that's the only thing that's missing, if the only thing I have to do is wait, then I don't mind waiting. Because the fundamentals are already there, the amount of holders are already there. I mean, Onyx has almost 150,000 holders. It's already launching things like its layer 1 blockchain in terms of the mainnet, also something like Onyx Mesh. So the foundational pieces are there. It's just the market hasn't changed. But I don't mind waiting for something that I like fundamentally. That's the thing. It's like, for instance, if I want to wait for a new vehicle to arrive, then I don't mind. But if I'm waiting for a car that has like 400,000 miles or whatever, and then it's broken down like 30 times, then yeah, why would I want to wait for that? It kind of makes no sense. So when it comes to this space, I don't mind waiting for the projects that are good. That's the thing. And what Onyx is experiencing as of right now is not unique only just to this. Bitcoin's having a pullback, so is Ethereum, so is Solana, so are a lot of other projects out there. It's not only just Onyx. But again, if I like Onyx fundamentally, then I don't mind. Why am I upset? I'm not upset. So when people like to ask me, am I upset when it comes to Onyx? No, because I like the fundamentals. The only thing that's missing is just a big change in market sentiment, but I don't mind waiting for that because I don't mind waiting for years if I have to. I'm only dollar cost averaging once every approximately 1 month anyways, even though I am not telling anyone to do anything, but that's just personally what I'm doing. I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting for years anyways. But long story short, how can I be upset when it comes to a project improving fundamentally? It just makes no sense, which is why I'm not upset, and I'm still waiting, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward when it comes to Onyx, and hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. It's only the captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.